And we are live.
Good morning, everyone, and aloha snack bar. It's the one, the only Optimus Primate, the Senor Silverback himself, the monetary monkey of mayhem, joined with with none other than the producer extraordinaire, the master of the flux capacitor, the one who dances, who slices, who cuts rugs, who makes it all look really easy, aka CJ, and we are back on another morning of news and information and all the views that might be important to you, but damn it, I know it is. Check us out on roguemoney.net. Follow us on Twitter at the Rogue Money, as well as Rogue Money on Facebook, aka Facebook, and Rogue Money on DTube, Steam It, and every single podcasting app known to humanity. We're also on Apple News, the Apple News app. We need to update that, but anyway, we're there. We're everywhere you want us to be, so make sure you check us out. Our award-winning writers from Ken Shorjan, James Russian Analyst, Bankster Slayer, Wolf the Wild Man Gray, as well as contributors like Harley Schlanger, London Paul. The entire crew are kicking butt and taking names. Check them out and their respective sites and pages. With that being said, also check out our sponsors, RemainCom.net. RemainCom.net, whether you need a gold USB to surf the internet anonymously with 1024-bit elliptical military-grade encryption, as well as being able to secure your Bitcoin wallet, My Gold USB, that's the old site. RemainCom.net has the gold USB you've been looking for. You can slap it onto any computer, and you are Edward Snowden. The only way the NSA is going to be looking at you is if they're actually sitting next to you looking at your screen. RemainCom.net has it. Check it out. Gold USB as well. If you need some personal or business funding up to $600,000, these are the guys to call. Get $600,000 unsecured from their lending partners that deals with a network of over 335 lenders. RemainCom.net has the funds you need, whether you want to buy cryptos, you want to buy stocks, bonds, you want to buy a house, you want to buy a dream car. Maybe it's a Lamborghini Aventador you want, and you don't care about the massive depreciation that occurs right afterwards. But heck, you just want to have a Lambo before it's on your bucket list. RemainCom.net will allow you to get that Lamborghini Aventador SV. Okay, the SV package, no less. Well, I think that's like 500 grand, Siege. Or you might not interested in a Lamborghini. You just want to get some Litecoin, some Bitcoin, whatever the heck it is. These guys will help you out. And most importantly, they have their amazing new programs. They're actually updating their site. And in 1 hour, they're going to relaunch the site with all new plans and a whole bunch of new clarity, so there will be no confusion. Plans that will not only protect and clean your credit, especially you need that, especially this Equifax hack that just happened. But most importantly, everybody needs the smart banking option. I don't care who you are. I just signed up yesterday for a smart banking option for myself. It is fantastic. I mean, you get this set up, CJ. I'm telling you right now, if somebody tried to sue you for $1 million in the future, you could laugh at them. It's the most powerful banking option. Literally, when they told me what they had set up, I almost fell out of my chair. I couldn't believe it. This is like a banking option that people would spend $20,000 to $30,000 for. And shocking. I'm telling you, you walk into a bank with the paperwork in hand to opening up this smart banking option, the banks would be kissing your butt, rolling out the red carpet. They think you're a multi-billionaire. They think you're a multi-millionaire, like you're a heavy hitter. That's how serious it is, because this type of account is only for heavy hitters, and these guys are pretty much doing it for pennies on the dollar. Check them out, RemainCom.net. At least get your smart banking option, and they got a whole bunch of other things that'll protect you against wage garnishments and bank levies, and all the other things that go along with trying to get out of debt and try to decouple from the debt-based system. RemainCom.net. With that all out of the way, CJ, what's crack-lacking, bro?
Hey, V, it's Friday, and I'm pumped up and ready to go.
It's Friday. Wasn't this some teeny bopper sang a song about Friday? I am pumped up too, my man.
These weeks are a blur, man. It just seem like it was Monday, and like here we are. 2017 Friday.
Is almost over. Is that crazy?
It is.
Dude, what nuts?
Yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy to think that we've cycled almost a year already.
Yeah, I want to move to Mars, CJ. You know why?
Why is that?
Because the days are longer, and there's not enough hours in the day on planet Earth, man.
Aha! Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
So the first Mars mission, I want to volunteer. You can use me as a test monkey. I mean, they're shooting chimpanzees out into orbit. Why can't they shoot a gorilla? I think we do a better job.
You could be the first gorilla. That is
That's what I'm saying.
You know what?
I will volunteer to be the first simian ape, the largest of the ape species, to be shot into orbit.
I think that NASA does have a suggestion link on their site, V. So I will go on there. I'll input your information, the suggestion, and we'll see where it gets us.
Exactly.
No, but no, I had a good evening. I mowed the yard. One of my neighbors did a fire pit, so I hung out there for a little bit. But when I was mowing the yard, I was listening to InfoWars, V, because I like to listen in every now and then, get caught up what Alex is stating and everything. But
right,
just a couple of things. I appreciate Alex's efforts and everything that he has done. Because again, I think that's where we all began, our red pill at some point. But however, I was listening to him, and there's some things that he says that are just so conflicting, and I'll give you just a couple examples. So yesterday he was going on a tangent. He was very upset that Drudge Report is no longer linking to InfoWars, and that was kind of his baby, there for a long time, was that Drudge Report is linking to us now, and so then the amount of time that he states that, go start your own broadcast. Go, we support the little guys. We want to help the little guys get to where we are, InfoWars. And it's just such BS. It truly is. I mean, he spends the majority of his time, upset that a big outfit like Drudge, who just, links a lot of articles, he spends his time with Megyn Kelly. He spends his time, on Joe Rogan. But after the numerous attempts that I have sent to him, to some of his some of the several other very talented individuals there in the organization, not even respond. So he really needs to wipe that whole thing out as far as wanting to help other outfits get started and everything, because he'll only spend his time with a highly, regarded, or something that's going to hype up his rating. So, I just want to call him out, on specifically that, okay, because of BS. And then the other thing too is that, Alex is very dangerous around sticking to his paradigm regarding the administration. And when he said yesterday that we're not scripted, and my writers, they can write what they want about, and I don't just. Well, it's so funny that the majority of the time, that any time he's allowing someone else to do one of his broadcasts, that he's like interrupting like 95% of the time. So they'll start talking about something regarding the administration, then he redirects like constantly. And one of the most dangerous examples recently was yesterday. I was listening to him. He's talking about this whole other big push for Obamacare. And I was hoping that we were so over Obamacare and was just going to let it have its death blow. But now we have all I need to say regarding the newest initiative regarding Obamacare is Lindsey Graham. And right there, that should make you think otherwise about what that's going to bring. Yeah. So yesterday on there, he's sitting there saying, well, you know what, there's some, bits and pieces about it. And, sometimes we have to look at even a small win and everything. But this bill that Lindsey Graham is proposing is just, so far out there. It does it just kicks the can down the road, just like everything else that happens at the federal level. And for him to sit there and not criticize, and in part, the thing that frustrated me is that when Donald Trump sent a tweet out and was attacking Rand Paul, who truly should be probably president of the United States, attacking Rand Paul for his liberty principles, his principles around freedom, regarding, and to me, he's probably like one of the only politicians that I trust in DC. Absolutely. So when Donald Trump sends out a tweet attacking he can attack Lindsey Graham all he wants, attacking Rand Paul, I take that very personal, because that just assures me that Trump is full of shit, doesn't know what he's talking about half the time.
What did he say about Paul? When did this happen?
This happened yesterday.
What did he say about Rand Paul?
Well, because Rand Paul is very much criticizing the Lindsey Graham bill being proposed regarding Obamacare, saying that Rand Paul needs to come in line and pay
Look,
Rand
man.
Paul a little bit, but he's completely out of line on this one, and he needs to basically fall in line.
Look, man. I mean, look. Let's be honest here. Lindsey Graham's only purpose is to wear knee pads and get on his knees for John McCain. Okay, that's he is John McCain's fluffer. That's his only purpose in life, is to fluff McCain. All right. Now, when you have a guy like Rand Paul, who is an actual very successful physician, he's a doctor, and long before he became a politician, he's seen the effects of Obamacare. Okay, he's seen the disaster of this whole entire thing. So, for somebody like Rand Paul, and now I remember what you were saying. Okay, somebody like Rand Paul, who sees this, who is a medical professional, who knows the effects of this firsthand. This is somebody who works in the industry, whose father is also a doctor, a medical doctor, okay, an obstetrician, all right, who's also a military veteran, okay, and these two guys know what this is all about. They see it firsthand. They understand the disaster on this whole entire thing, and then to call it out for what it is, and then all of a sudden, like, I mean, come on, he'll be forever known as a Republican who saved Obamacare. Like, what is this all about? Go ahead, Messi.
So here's his tweet. Yeah, here's his direct tweet. Okay, so I went ahead and brought it up. So, quote unquote, Rand Paul is a friend of mine, but he is such a negative force when it comes to fixing health care. Graham Cassidy bill is great, ends care. So Rand Paul is a negative force when it comes to fixing health care. He's the only person that's intelligently speaking about reform and what needs to take place, V.
This is so stupid. The bill actually keeps Obamacare spending, which is egregious, and just redistributes it. Another socialistic program that's government backed. That doesn't fix anything. You want to fix healthcare, you get the government out. Folks, let me explain to you how this works. I don't care if you want to call it Obamacare Light, Obamacare Diet, Obamacare 2.0, O-Care, Brock Care. I don't care what the hell you want to relabel this ugly elephant. The point is, if you don't have a competitive system within the market that allows insurance companies to compete across state lines, you will not fix healthcare. You will not lower the cost. On this program, many times I have said, okay, the reason why look at cosmetic surgeries, look at cosmetic dentistry. The prices on these things have dropped dramatically from where they were 15 years ago or 20 years ago. Why? Because there's so much competition and insurances are not covering it. So doctors are able to offer the best value at the best competing price. Okay? Competition is a good thing. Redistribution, having the government, I don't care what it is. Oh, now the government has mandating this, but now they want to redistribute this. The point is, it's the government is the nexus around which this bloated pig of a bill, this bloated pig of a medical system called Obamacare orbits around. And as long as it's the government, this doesn't fix anything. The Graham Cassidy bill does jack shit to Obamacare. It doesn't do anything. Okay? This is stupid, man.
Yeah, it actually does worse, because what it does is it takes $1 trillion, okay, and it's gonna force this out to, I believe, like 2026. Don't quote me on that. It's somewhere really far down the road. So they're gonna take this $1 trillion, V, and then they have this formula. They have this formula that they're gonna take a look at the states and the states that expanded Medicare Medicaid, and what they're going to do is they have this magic formula that they're going to decide then how to distribute that money. And basically on paper, basically what it looks like is that they send money to the very heavy Republican states and then penalize any Democratic state, which, again, I'm not saying that that's just strictly because of party, but that's what it looks like on paper.
Yeah.
But I think in regards to the whole aspect, and this is something that you always say, we've said this from the beginning, is that that you have to deregulate the health and care industry. You have to allow individuals to buy insurance across party lines. And I had the opportunity yesterday to listen to Rand Paul, and he's discovered somewhere in the laws from 1974 somewhere that he believes that that law already exists that would allow individuals and companies to participate in these what they're calling co-op insurances that would allow groups to come together and purchase insurance across state lines. And this wouldn't need anything. This wouldn't need any legislation. It wouldn't need any executive action order. It would just need for clarification that hey, we could utilize this to deregulate the insurance industry. Listen, if anyone on this that's listening right now does not think that the insurance companies are rolling in the cash like they are, they do not think that big pharma, pharmaceutical industry are rolling in cash with the amount of overpricing that occurs. Why are Americans paying 5 to 10 times more for our prescription needs when Canada is selling it 10 or 20 times less than that? There's so much more that can be done, and just kicking the can down the road just to get some type of a minute win, just to take back to their constituencies in their states, is just absolute BS at this point.
It really is. I like these tweets that Rand Paul put out. No one's more opposed to Obamacare than I am, and I've voted multiple times to repeal. The current bill isn't a repeal. And he says this: I won't vote for Obamacare light that keeps 90% of the taxes and the spending just so some people can claim credit for something that didn't happen. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. This is a joke, man. This doesn't fix anything. Another flip flop. Another flip flop.
Well, no, and again, like I said, just for those that get their news from these so-called, trusted sources, and what people are saying is that falling in line just because you don't ever want to admit that hey, there's parts of things that are bad, or there's certain things.
Yeah, you know what you call that, CJ? They call that controlled opposition.
Yeah, and you don't stand for anything. So anyway, so I just want to get that off my chest, V, because I think it was just so important. It was actually one of the topics that we had on to talk about that, because they're voting on it as early as Monday. So is it a distraction? Is it a distraction?
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, they may. It looks like. So again, they're looking at getting this passed on Monday. Where are the tax reforms? Where are the tax cuts to the middle class? I firmly believe that they know and they understand that as much as the government likes to spend, these bills that are being passed regarding the military expansion, all these things, is that they know that they cannot get these tax cuts to happen, primarily because they don't have the guts, they don't have the backbone to cut spending at the federal level.
Exactly correct, man. Unreal. Anyway, brother, what do you want to jump into?
Well, let's talk about I think Kim Jong-un and Trump just need to maybe have a rap battle. Maybe there doesn't need to be. Maybe they can just go with the war of words against each other. He's an egomaniac. They're just he's deranged. Yeah, all the war of words that are happening right now. Just let these two just have a rap battle.
They should have a rap battle. I agree.
Pay-per-view it. But each one of them can pick who wants. Maybe Dennis Rodman can stand for as a backup for Kim Jong-un.
It'd be like 8 Mile Road, the whole setup where Eminem is like, he's in the battle rap, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of Mekhi Phifer, we could have like Dennis Rodman be the MC, and he's like passing the mic between the two.
That would be. Well, hold it. Wait a minute. Do they make parachute pants the design of skinny jeans so that Jared could attend? Because if they don't make those, we're gonna have to find a designer to make parachute pants.
No, he doesn't like something that comfortable. He likes to the tighter the better. So I heard he likes heavy burlap. So maybe we'll get him one of those. The tighter the better. The whatever keeps the blood flow into his head. That's his thing. So
yeah. Anyway, so new sanctions passed.
Yeah. New sanctions have passed.
Yeah, go ahead.
And We're talking about how North Korea evades these UN sanctions, man. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. We know that they do business with 162 countries. Okay, so they're not as isolated as we are led to believe. You know, they're called the Hermit Kingdom. When you hear about the Hermit Kingdom, you're thinking about a country that maybe has maybe one, maybe two, maybe three trading partners. No, there's 162 countries from Asia to Europe to Africa that do business with North Korea. Some of these, European countries will be Germany, Norway, Sweden. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. So the United Nations recently passed the strongest sanctions yet. Okay, but critics have expressed doubts whether the sanctions work. The U.S. government and the idiots at the UN, headed by the U.S. ambassador to the UN, the wonderful Waffle House waitress herself, Nikki the idiot, I have no brain, Haley, whose only experience in foreign policy is whatever the maniacal mustache John Bolton whispers into her ear. They have published reports on how North Korea evades sanctions to earn hard currency it needs. And here's 8 of the methods used, CJ. Why don't you take? Let's divide these methods between both of us, CJ. I'll start off. Swapping goods. North Korea directly exchanges its coal and other minerals, which they have a lot of, folks. The other minerals for goods that it needs, such as weapons, components, even luxury items. This avoids the risk of money transfers being traced. A resolution passed by UN Security Council last November set a cap on North Korea's coal exports, which generate a significant share of the country's revenue. That's not going to stop them. Another reason the resolution passed last month banned the coal trade with North Korea, but bulk purchases of the fuel continue. Chinese businessman Xi Jinping allegedly used his company Dandong Xiangcheng metal. I did that pretty good. See, did you hear that?
You did. That was awesome. You nailed it.
Oh, Dandong Xiangcheng metallic materials to buy steel and anthracite coal from North Korea in exchange for nuclear missile components. The other way they get money is smuggling. Look at that. Who would have thought they would have reserved this? Yep. Falsifying shipping and smuggling is the way to go, man. I mean, falsifying shipping and registration documents, right? Overseas workers and projects help fund the weapons program. Almost 100,000 North Koreans work around the world. Did you folks know that? If you're supposedly a hermit kingdom, isolated from the rest of humanity, how come you have 100,000 citizens abroad working? And what do? They generate $500 million for dim sum or some dung fool's regime, according to the U.S. government. Some dung fool don't seem so dumb all of a sudden, does he? Mansuade Overseas Projects Group of construction companies was named as the UN as one of North Korea firms that raised. So basically, they're doing it with front companies. See, to get into the 5 through 8 reasons why.
Well, which one did you land at? You stepped at 5, right? Modifying equipment free of embargo for military use. Mm-hmm. North Korea displayed missiles at a huge parade, which I think most of those were bogus anyway to begin with. Number front companies. How many front companies does North Korea operate? So, again, that would allow them to have these bogus bank accounts, no different than the drug cartels do with American banks. So they could operate that way. And again, just several other aspects regarding companies that could be established. North Korean companies manufacture military communication devices, uses a number of front companies in Singapore, Malaysia, and Hong Kong to settle payments with clients and suppliers, according to a UN report. A single invoice has often settled through a series of small transactions that allow them to avoid the sanctions fee.
Wonderful. And what are the others, man?
Which ones are you? Oh, arms sales. Yeah, I'm sorry.
And arms sales.
Diplomatic cover. North Korea uses its diplomats overseas to open multiple bank accounts. Sometimes they're in their own names, family members, or front companies.
Yep.
Korea continues to sell arms and provide military training overseas, despite U.S. embargoes. It is particularly active in Africa and the Middle East. Imagine that. A United Nations investigation said buyers included Angola, Democratic Republic of Congo, and a bunch of other countries.
And that's how these guys skirt it. And that's how they'll continue to skirt it. That's why all the sanctions that these guys are trumping up doesn't mean jack squat, which is also pretty interesting because South Korea does not want war. They understand it's their butts on the line. Isn't it amazing how the U.S. thinks they can call the shots? Isn't it amazing that these a-holes think that they can go ahead and create massive regional instability They can create a humanitarian crisis. They're great at that. That's our greatest export. People want to know what our biggest export is. Humanitarian crisis. South Korean president calls for peace. Look at that. So what's this all about, man?
Yeah. Well, I mean, in part, South Koreans know that North and South, that if there was an escalation, a war V, the amount of casualties that would occur on both sides of the peninsula, right? So it's estimated that on the last conflict, that North Korea, that the U.S. killed approximately 30% of the North Korean population. And then and obviously yesterday with President Trump's threat, he wanted to go ahead and kill all 25 million in total destruction, which would be the result of any type of nuclear event. You know, the South Korean President Moon, he looks, when I was watching him during the press conference, you know, listening to his speech, this guy is like shaking in his boots. He is just so scared of the events that are going to happen. The South does not want an escalation. And in fact, even with this embargo, everything that's going on, and I don't think most Americans know this, and I didn't know this until the other day, that at this point, South Korea is pledging $8 million in aid for North Korea.
Yeah.
So even with this going on, even with the sanctions and everything going on, we're going to cut their funding. We're going to do all this. The South as an extension to say, hey, please, let's talk. Let's figure a way to work this out. Is pledging $8 million in aid to the North Koreans.
Mm-hmm. You know,
this is a big disconnect, and I agree with this. It's a big disconnect when those things are happening. So who wants war more, the South Koreans or the United States?
Exactly correct. H.R. McNuggets is running wild. The neocons are running wild. Nikki Haley's running wild. Who the hell's in control anymore? Like, who's in control? Everybody's shooting off the mouth. You had assholes, spec op morons, you know, trying to kidnap 29 Russian soldiers the other day, and they got their asses kicked, thank God. Like, who's calling the shots? It's not Trump. He's not calling the shots. Maybe he should sit down and rewatch his campaign speeches. Maybe you should do that, CJ. Right?
Well, yeah, and you have to take a look at it, and our listeners know because we've discussed this several times, is the fact that what America fears, okay, what the United States fears is a united North and South Korea under the influence of China and joining the One Belt, One Road, because that's one of the last, I'm sure it's probably one of the biggest military bases that we have, you know, in the seas, South Asia seas right now, is regarding the South V and our military that's there. And that's what they fear the most, is losing the influence, losing the ability to be right there where they want our military to be able to intervene. And again, if we could have just easily have worked things out to understand what it meant to join the One Belt, One Road project, to help the United States economy, things could be a lot different.
Yep. Absolutely correct, man. Absolutely correct. State of municipal pension Ponzi, my man. It's starting to pop. We've covered this for years. We've talked about the dangers of this, and guys, it's it's happening. Ohio, which has been carved out and destroyed by a company that was managing their pensions, the same company that was connected with Bernie Madoff. What do you expect? Is there anything that politicians are good at doing? The answer is zero. Nothing. They're good at circle jerking each other. That's what they're good at. Go ahead, Siege.
Well, yeah, and you're right. We've covered this numerous times, that when you take a look at the amount of pensions in the U.S. that are underfunded right now, you're talking about a sum of almost $4 trillion. Okay, and this isn't the fake economic recovery that you're getting in the media. This isn't the fake jobs numbers that are being reported. This isn't the fake stock market. I shouldn't call it fake. It's real, but it's just not. It's under a lot of influence from corporations and everything else. So you take a look at these pensions that are collapsing. So a few months ago, it was the state of California, 2 municipal pension funds, where they had to cut the line and cut pensioners' benefits by 90%. Okay,
that's totally normal. That's love, man.
By 90%. And now, just as of yesterday, we're learning that the state of Ohio appears to be the next in line, as they have announced they will begin cutting cost of living allowances for millions of their million recipients due to the shortfall of their underfunded liabilities with their pension system. V, and this isn't isolated. V, this isn't isolated. We've reported on, Illinois, Kentucky. I mean, shoot, maybe this $1 trillion that they're wanting to throw out in the healthcare bill, maybe they're wanting the states to utilize that to prop up their pensions. Who knows?
Who knows?
But this is very alarming. So we're starting to see these pension bubbles pop, and it's happening very rapidly.
Oh yeah, and you can count on one hand how many pension funds in this country are actually solvent. Just on one hand. Everybody else, and how many municipalities we have? Thousands. They're all insolvent, or they're barely funded. It's amazing. It truly is amazing, man. Anyway, pot calling the kettle black. Afghanistan is accusing Pakistan of harboring terrorists, and you know why this is stupid? Let me break this down for you. This is the kind of intel you only get at Rogue Money, folks. Okay, let me explain to you why. Let me explain the context of this. Okay, the president of Afghanistan. President Ghani, okay, President Ghani proclaimed that he will no longer tolerate his country's neighbor Pakistan acting as a shelter for terrorist organizations. The kettle calling the pot black, asking for Islamabad to get the message and do away with quote-unquote safe havens. I hope this time Pakistan will get the message loud and clear that business as usual cannot continue. It's not in their interest. It's not in anyone's interest, President of Afghanistan Ashraf Ghani told the U.S. National Public Radio on Thursday. Pakistan has never had this type of dialogue with the U.S., and I hope that wisdom and the shared national interest will prevail. Now, these guys are going around talking about how Pakistan's harboring terrorism. Yeah, you look at the western province of Pakistan, it's like the Wild Wild West over there. It's pretty bad, okay? You got the Pashtuns. The western border of Pakistan kind of spills over into much of the Pashtun-dominated regions of Afghanistan. Now, the question is, why is all of a sudden Ghani talking about Pakistan and he's giving a little wagging his finger against Pakistan? Simple. President Ghani of Afghanistan has been bought and paid for by the U.S. government. The U.S. decided to throw this simpleton of a man some bags of cash. And this idiot, Ghani, can you even call him the president of Afghanistan? Let's just call Ghani for what he is. He's the mayor of Kabul, okay? Mm-hmm. Because that is the only place the U.S. has any influence. Afghanistan remains a war-torn country run by multiple warlords, okay? It's a joke. So the mayor of Kabul, which is Ghani, a.k.a. the president of Afghanistan, okay? When he's bad-mouthing Pakistan, I'll tell you exactly why. Months ago, what happened with China? China signed massive deals with Pakistan. And then China did something that was so incredible. They actually got two of the big rivals in Southeast Asia, Pakistan and India, two nuclear powers, to sit down and become members of the SCO, the Shanghai Cooperative Organization. The SCO is a powerful trade bloc. And now India and Pakistan are all of a sudden members of it. So in other words, the New Silk or the One Belt, One Road initiative continues to roll forward. The muckety-mucks over at Washington, D.C. can't let that happen. And all of a sudden they're sending in more troops because somehow that's going to make things better. They're doing what they can, and as failed and futile as it is, they're doing what they can to prop up whatever vestiges of power that they have left in Afghanistan. Okay, and just as a roadblock, just as a monkey wrench in the whole system, just trying to disrupt and create chaos, which is what the United States does best. Okay, that's what this whole thing is about. Okay, what it really means is the U.S. has lost Pakistan to China, and they've also failed to influence India with, they're going to show up to the Indian, military competitions, and they want to try to sell them the F-35. And the Indians who just bought the French Rafale are like, well, okay, where's the F-35? Why don't you bring it out here and have it compete against these other fighters? Oh, no. Our plane is much too important to be competing. They failed to influence India militarily, and now it's back to Afghanistan to throw a monkey wrench into the One Belt, One Road initiative and the SCO, to which both India and Pakistan are members of the Chinese-led SCO. And once again, CJ, the U.S. is on the outside looking in. That's the real news of it. Okay? The simpleton will read the headline, oh, the president of Afghanistan. Stop calling him the president of Afghanistan. He's the mayor of Kabul, accuses the Pakistan of harboring terrorists. This is the background story. He's a bought, paid for U.S. puppet proxy. And he'll flip. The mayor of Kabul will flip if China throws more money at him. It is what it is, man. Anyway, let's run down the last remaining of these stories real quick. Why critics of cryptocurrencies are dead wrong. We have James Altucher to Bitcoin critics, you're dead wrong. And at least that's a strategy that, one of the things that James Altucher says is that only invest in things that solve problems. That's a strategy that James Altucher, former hedge fund manager and business blogger and best-selling author, placed at the center of his investment strategy. With that outlook, it might seem strange that he so bullishly invests in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, emerging technology especially accused of being solutions searching for a problem. But Altucher thinks that claim is nonsense. Siege, what's this all about, bro?
Well, and you're getting so much information come out regarding, look at Jamie Dimon as a perfect example. Look at the fake news regarding China and their crackdowns. Are there some warning signs out there? Are there some things? Yeah, I mean, you have to use precaution, but for them to systematically not understand cryptocurrencies as the solutions to counter, and like we said the other day, Jamie Dimon coming out and slamming Bitcoin gives you probably even more ammunition to the conversations of how Bitcoin is going to be so disruptive to the banks. Are they going to create their own? Are they going to create their own cryptocurrencies? Yeah, banks will try, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be able to, to mandate and to control the Bitcoins. I would, if anything, I would probably be on the lookout if you try to utilize any of your banking cards to purchase cryptos. Yesterday, I tried to buy some Bitcoin, and I have I had to order a new card, and long story short, the two cards that I was using, both were JP Morgan, okay, and they were being blocked. They were being blocked, so they wouldn't authorize the transactions to buy the Bitcoin. So I had to, work around that system to get it. Yeah. So again, the attacks on the cryptocurrencies and again, regarding ICOs and all those things, we're going to be helping the audience because I do get it. It's not crystal clear. It can be confusing. You have to have a wallet, you have to have an exchange, you have to have cold storage, you have to have hot storage. So I completely get it in regards to having to understand, but Rogue is going to be helping that. We are going to be not only, sharing information regarding the cryptos, but we're also going to be having almost like an intelligent or breaking down some of the ICOs and
we're gonna have
good ads.
And that's what we're gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a preview. We're going to be the intelligentsia of cryptos. It's coming.
Yeah, the good, bad, the ugly, everything.
Absolutely.
But for them, I agree with you. Like this article says, to blanket all cryptos is a bad thing. It just isn't. It's not even in the right mentality to be stating that all cryptos are bad. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense. And we're going to be helping to provide some information.
Exactly. With that being said, folks, that brings us to the end of the broadcast. Siege, what we got planned later today?
Yeah, so later on today, we're going to be having a couple of interviews that the V and I did. We're excited to be releasing those primarily because we talk a lot about solutions based things that are happening, V, and we came across an individual that's doing some amazing things in terms of helping find solutions, and so we're going to be releasing that interview later on, and that's with Chris Blasi from Neptune GBX.
Yep, absolutely. And with that being said, folks, we are over and out. Have yourselves a great weekend, and we'll be back again Monday morning. Hasta la pasta, everybody. Take it away, CJ.